Today's topic is metaphysics of yoga. We will be covering this topic under the following heads. First, we will go through the science, physics, and metaphysics. What are they? And then we will cover what is the principle of cosmic mind. Then, what are the level of languages? What is the language of the reality, which is para? Various states of human consciousness, types of perception. Then we will cover the scientific philosophy and cognition center, various states of our intellect, and then we will cover the science of use, the science of the union, before concluding. And at the end of lecture, or even in between, if you have any thoughts, if you have any questions, I will try to answer. As Dr. Soham covered, after doing so many things, being through near-death experiences, having been in dangerous situations, and conquering almost all the challenges in life, I was under the next challenge as to what next and what is inconquerable. So normally we see in our life, we are told God is there, and some people say, but who has seen God? So there is a doubt in our mind. So I tried to solve the doubt, and I followed my research into yoga. What is yoga? And what is religion? All these people, starting from Valmiki, Vasishtha Muni, and Nanak, Kabir, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rishis, all these people, are they right, or they are making fools of the public? So this was my challenge which I undertook, and I started researching about meditation and everything. So it was my journey, and it started in 2017 or 2016. First, we'll cover what is science, physics, and metaphysics. As we know, the science today is a material science that analyzes and it has been proved in a laboratory. The proof can be repeated by everyone, and it is analytical discipline. Whereas when the word science started, it started in the sense of science, from the root word of seeing, as you see. Seeing, like, if you go into the verbal meaning, it will be like the drashta. The seer will be the drashta, and seeing science will become akin to darshan. So, as in omniscient, the scient is one who sees, and omni is all around. So, when you are able to see all around, or all knower, where physics today is the discipline of science that deals with matter and energy and all interactions and laws of the nature. Whereas metaphysics, in traditional sense, meta means beside, and it is also something besides physics. But in today's sense, or the correct sense it is used today, is something that deals with things that we don't see. These also beings, ghosts, and also non-material beings, and perception and organization or setup which is beyond the physical sciences. So today we will be covering the metaphysics that we think we don't see. Coming to the first principle of such metaphysics is the cosmic mind. Cosmic mind is existence, laws, and rules that cosmos seems to follow. Earth keeps going around the sun, moon keeps going around the earth, and we have been rotating or revolving in this similar fashion since billions of years. And these heavenly bodies among the galaxies and among the cosmos, in the cosmos, they seem to follow a pattern, a law, and they seem to interact with each other following those laws, which we call laws of physics, chemistry, and so on. So, why these are called laws? Because they don't change, and they govern these laws govern the cosmos. So, on the picture which you see is the picture which Plato used to profess. He used to say that in top of the principle is the principle of highest good, that we have to do good, and if there is an evil, that means there is lack of good. Then came now the world soul, and then individual soul, and from there came the physical world. So even in Greek philosophy, universal mind or the world soul had a great significance. In Sanskrit, we call this cosmic mind as Brahman. Brahman means from Brahmand. If you have a word, Brahmand is Brahman plus and. And means spheroid, and a spheroid which is consisting or made from Brahman. Most of the religions like Jainism, Buddhism, they start and end with Brahman only. And Brahman means a universal or cosmic consciousness. In our scriptures like Brahma Purana and all, Brahman has been described having two faces. One of the faces of Brahma is face, that means extent of direction and dik. And other aspect of Brahman is the mind, or having a chitta or a consciousness, or that what makes things that controls the things, that controls the interaction. So, following this principle, there is life in certain planets and stars, particularly in the stars and planets which are centers of life. If you consider Earth in that manner, the Earth is a self-sustaining planet. You will find there is movement of air in the streams and wind patterns. There are rivers which are flowing. There is a water cycle. There are sea streams. There are weather patterns. And if we leave Earth as it is, there are cycles of various things, and they seem to balance itself. The Earth is quoted in this endeavor by Vishnu Devas and other heavenly spirits. Similarly, Sun is also a star which is controlling all the planets. Around the solar system, you will find a heliosphere, and the heliosphere protects all the planets which is in the solar system. 97% of the mass of the solar system belongs to the Sun. And so, therefore, the Moon and the Sun and the other planets, when they revolve around, their gravitational field changes, and whatever interactions take place, they also affect the human life on Earth. Now comes the levels of the language. This is the second concept for today. Levels of languages I will cover. When I am speaking and you are listening, that means we are speaking with the help of words. This language is called waxing. These are the modulated sound waves on which the intelligence is written in form of language, and you are able to decode and listen to them. Then comes Madhyama. There is another level of language. Madhyama is when the mind is thinking and I want to say something. Then my lungs push the air and throat constricts at places, tongue moves, and the word starts flowing out. This we learn as we are growing up as a child. Once we master it, we don't seem to realize it as words, but whatever the machine language signals mind creates, and our organs follow those signals, and they move in certain fashion so that words can be spoken. Then the third level of language is Pashyanti. Pashyanti is like audio to visual. Pashya means to see. The language which is there in mind, we only seem to remember the images. And when we see the images and process the images, and we also see dreams, and in that also images. So our mind stores the images in an audiovisual format. And then comes the language of para. Para is the language of most the language of reality. This means when we have which we cannot read, understand, or we cannot listen to it, and this is interpreted by higher algorithms of the deep subconscious, and this is also the divine channel of Anant Karna. Anant Karna. This is how telepathy works. It is something like natural quantum communication. This is why the thought is considered as fastest in the universe. There is a science behind the prayers when you pray to God or to some planet, blessings and inspiration. The reason why beauty, love, peace, or deeper subconscious message can be interpreted by itself. This is this language. I will also add here, nowadays there is a hearing which is going on in US Congress, and this hearing is about UFO sightings which are done by US Air Force and Department of Defense. So this is a congressional hearing under oath, and they are discussing that whether aliens or UFOs have been visiting the Earth and what are the experiences. Some of the experiences in which some individuals have interacted with these alien beings, and they have quoted unanimously, and all the experiences, different experiences, that aliens or the extraterrestrials are able to converse with them in their language and without speaking a word. That means they have been talking perceptively or without using words, and this is the establishment of cosmic language, and also it is also establishment of a direct channel of knowing the reality. Covering to various states of human consciousness. Now, normally when we talk, we listen, we sustain this body, and this state is known as waking state or Jagrit Avastha. And then we sleep peacefully and rest and repair, we incorporate. This is called Sushupti or sleep. And in the sleep, when we have visions and hearing, and we have beautiful sight, it is dream or Swapna. Various types of dreams and interpretation, they have their interpretation. This is also one of the state when you say, yes, I am, and I realize my soul. This is the primary activity of the soul. Communication also takes place with the spiritual entities, guiding spirit. There could be repeated dreams, and there could be culminating dreams. There is a whole science or metaphysics behind the dreams, and it is an interesting subject. Then there are dreamlet. That means in a dream, when you are aware that I'm dreaming, and you are able to make a conscious choice whether to do something or not to do something, or do something as you desire. This is also known as lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming has been in vogue in Africa since time immemorial, and they have a plant also. Root of that plant is taken, and then it is eaten by after boiling or something. Then person goes to sleep, and the person would be able to do lucid dreaming. And lucid dreaming also helps in overcoming fears and desires, and also self-fulfillment. It is also a can be used as a treatment. Then we have other states of consciousness which are samadhi, which is not normally accepted it's a subject of research. From beyond the samadhi, we have Surya, Chetna, etc. So basically, samadhi, Surya, and Surya these are also some states of consciousness which deserve the attention and which we need to understand. In these states of consciousness, we are able to understand, we are able to receive the knowledge, also communication, also we are able to forecast, also our mind goes into separate kind of different kind of state in which it is in overdrive. In these states, we have a perception that we perceive things, we receive the information. These perceptions are immediate for direct perception. This is also what we know as CN, being a CN, or seer or drashta. When we see things, and when we know immediately about them without having seen them or without having prior information. Direct perception of pratyaksha is of two kinds. It is direct perception anubhava and remembered perception. A further distinction of direct perception comes in samadhi, which is indiscriminate perception nirvikalpa, in which the object is perceived without its distinguishing features, and discriminate perception savikalpa, in which the distinguished features are both observed and recognized. Then comes the normal kind of perception, which is known as immediate perception. Mediate is through the medium, and since we only can sense through the senses, either we can see or hear or touch or taste or smell. So this is the immediate. This is the mediate perception. Yoga is based on the philosophy called Sankhya philosophy. Sankhya philosophy means enumerated. Enumerated means there it is exact. It has been laid down that so many elements or so many factors are there in the universe, and it spells out. It is one of the philosophies which have been most clearly used. This has also been discussed in Jainism. This has also been discussed in many of the scriptures. And in Gita, Shri Krishna tells us, among the three, I am Avastha or people tree, or Ficus religiosa. And Narad among the divine sages, among the Gandharvas or musicians of the gods, I am Siddhartha. Among the perfected ones, I am sage Kapila. So Kapil Muni had started Sankhya philosophy, and he laid out the universe. It is a philosophy which is in line with Vedas, Upanishads, and it is a deep philosophy. And Shri Krishna himself had a birth as his Kapil, and he had given this knowledge to his mother in that birth. The state which is reached by Sankhya, it can also be reached by Yoga. One who sees the Sankhya and Yoga are the same correctly. This is the statement which Sri Krishna made in Gita. So, also the philosophers say, whereas Sankhya is theory and Yoga is the practice of Sankhya. This is the Sankhya philosophy. I will cover this in a nutshell. Consciousness is known as Purusha or Prakasha, whereas Prakriti is known as Shakti. Modifies the Shakti of the energy, and this energy is spread in the form
of energy. Your voice is breaking actually.
Right? speak normally.
You may start with this slide only.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear.
Okay. So it is play of Vish and Prakriti that consciousness is modifying the energy, and energy is now spread in Brahma. So in Brahma, the energy is spread in a form which is known as zero-point energy or quantum form. And from the quantum form, what particles take start forming one quarks and other particles. Then they start taking shape as atoms, and then in the sun, when the atoms mix together in the stars, they become higher elements and giving birth to the planets and other beings. So this is how the play of Purush and Prakriti spread throughout the universe. Now I am coming to the cognition center which perceives. The cognition in the human body, the senses are spread in form of nerves throughout the human body, and spinal cord is connected to all the nerves, and this system is known as peripheral nervous system, whereas the brain is the central nervous system. The human brain contains whatever material, and the brain is able to control the functions throughout the body without the conscious intervention by the thought. Everything runs in an automatic fashion as per the design which we have inherited from our parents and our software soul. Most people in the Western sciences, they feel that consciousness is function of the brain. However, as per the Sanskrit philosophy and Indian philosophy, brain is only a medium. It is only a medium which houses the software soul. And this software soul is what we know, what we call a cognition center. It is a way of binding. The brain is only an interface between the physical body and the subtle body. And there are various facets of the software soul which is active at cognition center. These are firstly when the sensors are connected to mind, they are fused together. Like eyes see and ears hear and skin feel. All these sensations will be fused together in the mind. And mind is also known as 11th sensor or 11th indriya. And simultaneously, this information will also be processed by intellect or buddhi. And once two of these different processing techniques are used on the thought which arise, the ID or identity or ego or ahankara or which is providing particular identity to the cell, to the software soul, that process of formation and processing is enlightened by chitta or the consciousness, the unit of consciousness. And Ankara decides what is better for me, what is better for my design, what is my aim, or what should I receive and what should I know. And mind will profess its own case, and intellect will say its own. Both the cases will be presented to Ankar, and Ankar will decide what is better for Ankar, and the decision will be taken. This is commonly you must have seen. You want to do a certain task and you don't want to do a certain task, and then you decide what course is to be taken. This can be simply experienced and also explained. The cognition center, it shows the power of interpretation, memory, comparison, analysis, simplification, imagination, influence, and control. And brain, as we have already covered, is binding mechanism with the biological. In fact, it is electro mechanical biological body, and the three internal actors, ahankar, chitta, intellect, and mind, are three internal actors, and these actors they act in three times, whereas all other senses act only in the single time, that is the present time. So when somebody tells us, okay, live in the present time, do not overthink, that's a statement which is incorrect, because human beings in their mind will always live in three times. They will always compare the past, learn from the past, and they will always plan for the future, and that's how the life is. The organs, which are total 13 kinds, 3 internal and 10 external, and they grasp the senses by concentrating and illuminating, and their objects are tenfold. Basically, these 3 internal organs and 10 external organs, they see, sustain, and illuminate the particular sensor or sensory information. These 13 actors, 10 indriyas, and 3 internal actors, and these 3 act as the doorkeepers, and all the 10 act as the port from the door from the information comes or goes out. Now I will briefly cover the states of intellect. Before covering states of intellect, mind acts in the immediate present. Whatever we want to, it's a short term manager, what it will create best conditions for the physical body. It will also dwell in the indriyas and spend with the indriyas. Basically, the sensor, it wants fulfillment, it is prone to temptation. Whereas the intellect is analytical tool, and it is more like calculating and predicting and more realistic in nature. So there are 8 states of this intellect has been told in Sanskrit philosophy. These are dharma, adharma, vairagya, avairagya, jnana, aishwarya, and unaishwarya. Dharma means critical thinking. When we take any decision, or when we apply what is best for me, what is best for the world, what ought to be done, and what will be honorable to be done, what is good for everyone. So that is dharma. And if we do not apply that critical thinking, then it is adharma. Similarly, the vairagya is raga. Raga means also means attachment. It also means laya, or being one with the nature. Whereas avairagya means not being in consonance with the nature. Where jnana means jnana means knowing things, and again means not being aware of the things and not having any desire to know it. Whereas aishwarya is fulfillment of desire. Unaishwarya means annulment of desire. Aishwarya basically means if you are a king or a minister or of a high post person, then your influence and the people knowing you, your ability to do things for others, for yourself, and it is a capability, it is having a potential for doing things. So, if you are high in dharma, in that state of thinking, then upward will happen, that the quality of your thoughts will improve, or quality of your actions will improve, and you will evolve. Vairagya means you will be one with the nature, and jnana means with jnana you can attain moksha. Because what happens is having the understanding or the knowledge means ability to solve that problem. And when you solve every problem, you know everything, then your all the attachments, they will vanish, all the bindings will vanish, and you will be able to reach state of moksha. Whereas Aishwarya means that if you have the capability, then you will be able to fulfill your all the desires. Whereas if you are a person who remains cut off and is not having any desire about any kind, that means annulment of desire is actually not leading to any progress. The state of intellect or it can be affected by many things. One is like misperception. Misperception is vipraya, means what we do not understand what it is, or we understand it very differently. So this is the misperception. And there are 5 types of misperceptions which can affect our ability to think. And then ability to receive a shakti. Basically, if somebody is blind or is deaf, then his organs are not proper, or the information what he receives is not received by the mind and buddhi in that manner, then he will not be able to receive the correct information. Whereas the contentment is lack of interest, that okay, I have done enough and I don't want to learn anything, or time will come then I'll learn, or if it is in my luck then I'll learn. So there are 50, which are 9 types, which are impediment to learning. And then comes the lack of learning faculty. Basically, if you are not having access to any book, any library, or any lecture, or any friend, or acharya, or a teacher, or you do not have any past life karma which propel you towards learning, that means you have lack of learning faculty. That means it is also impediment in your intellect. These total of these 950 Ashakti of 28 types, with the Asitris of 8 types, Vikraya of 5 types, are total 50 in number, and they have also been enumerated. Now, coming to science of the union or science of the yoga. So, any act of sense that we sense or concentrate repeatedly, we visit that particular sense, and illumination is that is processing of this that allows revisiting the thought is of 10 types. These 10 include 5 types of functions for 5 senses, and these functions have 2 channels. One is divine and one is non-divine. The 5 types of air, pran, apan, saman, udan, vyan, are the actions of the 3 internals. Basically, in our mind, the pneumatic control of the body is also being controlled by the 3 internals: ankar, buddhi, and man. This is the primary information here which we must concentrate. This is why the breath control through yoga has an influence on modifying the state of these organs, because these organs control the body system or the breath, prana, apan, saman, udan, vyan. So if we control the prana and the apan, then the energy flows through the saman, it goes to the mind, and it also affects the working of intellect and man and ahankar. So this is how through pranayam we are able to modify our thinking and able to modify that particular state of consciousness that can lead us to a alternative state of consciousness, which is samadhi. The 2 channels, one is the normal channel and one is the divine channel. These organs can receive information directly from the metaphysical reality, and I will cover this, how you will receive it. The essence of the sense organ is called tanmatra. All the 5 sense organs have a basic sensing layer which is called tanmatra. Tan means body and matra means measure or quantity of the body, or a basic energy of the body. This chart shows on the screen Prushya, Prakriti, Mool Prakriti. From the Prakriti comes Ahankar, or identity, functional identity, and principle of Mahat. Mahat means from small to big. How the smaller things combine into bigger things. Mahat means, as you hear, Mahan, the big, massive, principle of mass, principle of Mahanta, or principle of bigger things. In the Mahat, you have five gross elements, Panchbhut, five tanmatras, five subtle elements, and five action organs. And in Ahankar, you have five sense organs, and then you have Manas mind. Basically, involute things are which are absolute and they are from the beginning, and which are which change, which modify, and which are also in their original state. They are property and change. And change means they have formed out of these involute things, and they are also changing. Tanmatra are common to human body and also common to the elements of the state, elements of the nature, Panchbhut. And Tanmatras are the direct connection of human senses to the consciousness. So, the language of reality we can understand only through when they are conveyed through our senses directly with the Tanmatras. Tanmatras are part of the fiction series, and they are part of the soul. Basically, when the soul flies out of the human body, so these Tanmatras, Manas, Buddhi, and everything remains with the subtle body, and subtle body is able to uh, infer or read or catch signals through these senses and able to get the information without having the hardware body. Coming towards the end of the metaphysics of yoga, it is based on science of reality, science of drashna of reality, and it also establishes the fact that the cosmos is conscious. Cosmos is able to understand. It is also basis of Sanatana Dharma, which also means that when we pray to sun or pray to Savitur, which is the Sagittarius A star, or the central black hole of our galaxy, that means through the quantum communication of mind, we are able to make sure that our thoughts reach those entities, and those entities also receive our thoughts and probably through their own system of communication are able to guide us and inspire us and help us by giving us good thoughts. Yoga is connection of individual cognition to cosmic cognition. Basically, through the alternative state of consciousness, through the language of Pra, we are able to connect to the universe or to the cosmos, and we are able to connect to the cosmic mind. And now, when you see in modern spiritual movement, you see past life regression, you see Akashic records, you see out of body experiences. Thankfully, I have been blessed to receive such experiences. I have myself experienced out of body experiences. I have myself experienced past life regression. I have myself experienced the Akashic records through the uh, meditation and practices of Yoga Nidra. It is possible for every human being to experience these if they want to try, and this doesn't require any proof. Every human being can practice on his own or through a group. The experiences of direct perception in alternative state of consciousness change the human perspective and about the purpose and aim of life. When you realize what is truth and what is marketing, then religious marketing or whether it is scientific marketing or it is the daily state of affairs of the human life will matter less and less to you, and you will be able to know what is your purpose of being here, what is the real evolution, and how you should conduct your life. So with this, I end my lecture and I am open to questions if you have.
Thank you, Dr. Malik, for the lecture, and I request participants to raise their hands here if you have any questions, or you may also write in the Q&A box, which is available for you. And there may be some questions in the YouTube. I request Midul to keep a check there. If there are any questions, you can ask. Till now, no hands raised. So I will ask a question on my behalf. So when you are talking about the Pada language which is beyond the spoken language, it is a communication in the stratum of our deep consciousness. So can you just give some daily life experiences in which we experience this para language? Actually, we have this experience in our daily lives. So perhaps we may hint towards those experiences.
Okay. One is like you will know when somebody misses you. So when you are doing your normal life and you feel that somebody has missed you, or your mother might be calling you, or now you go to your phone and you call up your mother and she says, yes, I was missing you. Have you eaten your food? Or have you done this thing? I was about to call you. And you call that person. So this is one of the first things which is the communication takes place. Whether a person is close by or if the person is miles away, you will be able to know that certain and certain person is coming across your path.
And most often, perhaps it happens with people with whom you have a deep connection in your regular life. Most often, it happens with such people. So maybe your siblings in your early days.
Yes.
This is very common. I also have a sibling, my elder sister. So at times this was very common with us during our childhood days.
So I will explain a little further what we mean by deeper connection. So this deeper connection is called entanglement of soul. So when your soul, what happens is we have a non-verbal communication as well as the verbal communication. When the two individuals are sitting, whether you are in a crowded place or when you are sitting somebody with somebody in seclusion, you are not speaking any words, but your minds continue to interact with each other. And sometimes you also realize that a person is good or bad or whatever, you can form your opinion. Sometimes that opinion could be modified by further information, but women have this sense very evolved. They can find from the look of a person that if the person is good or not good, having good intentions or not having good intentions. So this communication is continuously taking place without having our involvement in it.
Yes, probably we experience it in a much lower degree. And what you are talking about, the study on aliens and all that have been conducted. So there they may be having conversations in like without speaking. So
Yes.
like taking decisions and
words speak in your mind. Basically, the alien, somebody encountered alien said, please do not worry, I am not here to harm you. And a certain message they say, in one of the occasions, they gave a message to somebody that your world is risking a nuclear conflict or something like this. Some message will come to you.
So I see some hands raised now. So we have Kumar here. so who is a very regular participant in our series, and in every series he interacts with the speaker and engages with them. So I will unmute him, and Kumar, you can ask your question.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you are
Yeah.
perfectly.
Thank you. I have three questions, and I'm not sure in what what way should I be expressing them. My first question is ahamkara the same as ego? That's number one. Number two, what are the channels to reach ahamkara? And number three, what are the channels to reach cosmic consciousness? And how do we know that they are blocked? And are there means to unblock them? So these are three questions. I don't even know how they are interrelated, but they just came to my mind. Thank you.
Okay. So, ahamkara is basically identity, and identity is neither good, bad, or whatever. So, what
Then
happens?
maybe you can be a bit louder. Your voice is becoming less in volume.
Identity is neither good or bad, or we cannot assign anything to it. Identity is necessary. It is given by Prakriti to us. It is not our consciousness. It is a psychological construct. It is a software construct which tells us this is us. So when we associate this identity with something which it is not, incorrectly, so then what happens is when the misperception starts to rise. And when we give over importance to identity, and identity having no purpose except for maintenance of soul, so then that identity starts becoming a cage in which the soul will remain there, and it will separate from the cosmic consciousness. So it acts as a block. Now, to reach identity and to know yourself, to know your identity, you must focus from your childhood to the time now. From the childhood, you know who you are. Who you are, what do you want to do in your life. And as you proceed along the life, your thoughts change, your input change, your experiences change, but you remain the same. You remain the same. Your identity remains the same. This is how we identify identity from other type of thinking. So when identity can be a block, identity has to be played down, and it has to be identified correctly. Now coming to your third question, what is the channel to connect to the consciousness of or the universal consciousness or cosmic consciousness? By reaching the alternative state of consciousness. Basically, when we have to see, we have to open our eyes and we have to glance at the surroundings and receive the photons, and then we will be able to see. Similarly, to connect with the cosmic consciousness, we have to open our eyes. Open our eyes in the sense we have to reach that state of consciousness, which is known as samadhi or the turiya. Through turiya only we can reach the cosmic consciousness. And there is also a very interesting thing. There is in scripture a Rishi asks, how do I know when I have reached the conscious or consciousness? When I have connected, when I know the yoga is fulfilled, is it there or not? How do I know? So the other Rishi answers to his question, when you start feeling the enjoyment, basically when you feel the ananda and you feel the coherence and you feel your questions are being answered and you are able to understand things. So this is the indication that you have a connection to the cosmic consciousness. Whether you go through bhakti, go through the songs and kirtan or dance or anything or any activity, and in that activity, if you are able to transcend from your normal waking state to the alternative state of consciousness, which is known as samadhi, you will be able to connect with the cosmic consciousness.
Is the ego the same as ahamkara? And how do we get rid of our ego?
Ego is neither a good thing or a bad thing. It is a required thing. There is no need to get rid of it. If you have the proper knowledge at the proper time, it will get rid of itself automatically. So only thing is we have to be careful not to associate the ego with something it is not.
Like what?
Whatever. It is only identity. It is a software construct. If you give over importance to ourselves, like me and mine and I, over importance. I will say importance, over importance. So, and if you do not behave in that manner, then ego will become a obstruction. Otherwise, it is a great thing.
Thank you.
How do you evolve otherwise if you don't know whom you are evolving?
Let us go to the next question. Parag Samuel is here. I will unmute Parag. You can ask your question.
Am I audible?
Yes.
I have few questions, but I would begin with one thing first. That is, in meditation, importance is given to the position of the eyes, meaning whether your eyes are, of course, they are closed, but whether your eyes are downward or straight or upward, what is the significant importance of that position of the eyes in meditation?
Okay. Since our orientation in the space in this world is mostly through the eyes, 80% of information what we receive from this world is through the eyes. Rest we receive from other senses. So eyes are our primary sensor. So when we close eyes, that means we are cutting off those 80% input firstly. So then comes the position of the eyes. So position of the eyes, when eyes are focusing their energy on the pineal gland, that is center of the forehead and little behind it. Then what happens is our entire energy is focusing on the central point of our mind, our consciousness, and it is being there, and it will go into the alternative state of consciousness quickly. Whereas if we keep looking in front, eyes are not focused correctly, then thoughts will keep coming to our mind. And if eyes droop down and we keep focusing there, then ultimately we go into a state of sleep.
Thank you very much for your explanation. But then further question comes to my mind.
Okay.
That this is what we call it from Kriya Yoga point of view.
Yeah.
That how you are attending, giving attention to your centers and then going up into Sahasrara and also beyond Sahasrara. So these are when the eyes need to be focused on the pineal or what we call it as Ajna Chakra. But is it a Sahaja Samadhi condition or is it implied through certain actions?
Okay. Sahaj Samadhi is stoppage of chittavritti. Basically, you stop everything simply. Simply means without any particular exercises, you just learn to do it. It could happen by accident, by chance, by effort, and it may not even happen. That means Sahaj, without having any particular exercises. Whereas Kriya has got particular exercises in that you repeat those exercises, and once you follow this pattern, at a point which you may not know, whichever point that comes, you will be lost in time and space. You will disappear from the waking state into the alternative state of consciousness, and then the further progress will start.
Thank you for your explanation. The further question follows. Now, in this condition, what we talk about is giving mind a particular attention, and wherever the mind is attending to, the prana flows in that direction because they are linked together. So, but it is said that in Jnana Yoga, Manonash is important. So, if your mind is already destroyed or killed, how can you attend to this particular activity to reach to the superconscious state?
Okay, I will answer your question. That means basically when we are closing our mind, we are sitting still, we are not paying attention to any sound. That means we are cutting off the first 10 organs. When we cut off the first 10 organs, that we are not receiving any information from them, thus Indriya, so 10 organs are cut off. So when 10 Indriyas are cut off, that means mind which is having input from the 10 Indriyas, and it is a center of fusion of these inputs together in information cycles. So the mind automatically shrinks. So when the 10 Indriyas stop giving information, and after a time, the mind will have no sense what to process, and mind will also diminish. So when the mind diminishes, then the intellect will start making plans of the future. Then it will be free to disturb itself. And then you say, okay, stop, you also stop. And then the intellect also is made busy in some action or some kriya, and it also stops. Then comes chitta. And chitta now wants everything. It will want some siddhi, it will want something particular result out of this meditation. It will want to reach quickly to that stage where it wants to go, and so at a point then chitta will also disappear. So the kriya, if it is done properly, so that all of these three will get busy, and man is basically, it is like if the indriyas are cut off, then it is half dead already. So, and with time, again, it has got nothing to do, and its favorite subjects are not available, which are known as vishayas. If they are not available, then it is already in a state where it will not disturb you any further.
Thank you for your explanation. The further question follows. You have mentioned about wanting something at different states of our attention.
Yes.
So this wanting itself is a sankalpa, but sankalpa is supposed to be the hindrance to the moksha. So how is it permanent if all these experiences that you mentioned, I have gone through those experiences myself, and to highlight these experiences, what you spoke about, are you in that experience right now? No. So that means those experiences are not permanent, and the core purpose of the yogic practices or whatever we do or we don't do is the union of the Jivatma and Paramatma. So that is not achieved by getting those experiences. Can you highlight on this?
Okay, sir. I will highlight this by firstly explaining to you what is the nature of thought. Nature of thought is by concentration. Basically, thought moves in the psyche. When we attach ourselves to any object is external, it will always remain outside. The image of the object and a word attached to this object will remain inside our mind. So this object and the name will remain attached and it will be continuously revisited by the mind. So the thoughts always remain in cycles of thought, one after the other, one after the other. So all these desires of the mind, desires of the uh, intellect and desires of the consciousness or the system, all these desires, when we go through it time by time, one by one, they will either expand or they will diminish. So if we say, okay, we have driven whatever learning which we had to drive from these desires and they are not no longer required, being there, done that, so they will automatically start to vanish. And when they start to vanish, then the further progress will continue to happen. So at one point of time, when you know everything, you have experience of jnana or jnana and connection, then you will know these experiences were required for particular state and particular stage. And now I have already done that, been there, how many times more I am going to do it. So there is no point. Let's move to the better experiences or the higher experiences. And now comes the question that these experiences are only
Landmark.
ephemeral or small time or they do not last longer. So in this what happens is that they, their timings will start to increase. Like right now, I am having certain feelings in my mind and I am able to feel that I am not in samadhi because I am talking to you and I am using my indriyas and everything, but still I am very close to you. I can feel that continuously. And this joy which we drive out of like being a union, and you can feel it anytime, even traveling, even looking outside. Sometimes it will also happen that your sense organs will not hinder those experiences.
Yes, but my question was about the permanence of the experiences. And if that is not permanent, then the core requirement of Jivatma uniting with the Paramatma is not achieved.
Okay, I will answer your question.
I think, sir, I think maybe you can take this question offline because we are conversing with one particular person for a long time now.
Okay.
I will connect Parag with you and you can have a conversation together on this topic later on. We have some other interesting questions. So I will pose one question which I think we have from YouTube. So the question is, do we have validation methods for the metaphysics of yoga? Can we validate them as we can validate the physics of the material world? Can we validate the metaphysics that we were talking about?
Yeah,
Will you please mute me?
the metaphysics of yoga can be validated. The instrument is used. Also, it can be, there are three methods I will tell you. This is called reference, inference, and janati. By reference, if you know, you go through 10 books, different kind of books, 10 different type of people, different backgrounds, different settings. They talk about the same thing, and they suppose they talk about the experiences with aliens. So they talk about what happens to space uh, when astronauts go to space, how do they feel non-locality, or how do they have all kind of experiences? Then you realize, okay, there is existence of such kind of experiences. Now, when you correlate them and you draw out your influences, and when you practice the things yourself, and then you will know yourself. It might take some time, but it will come to you. So you are the instrument in this laboratory of metaphysics. So you can start your career.
That's a good answer, sir. So we have to experience and we have to do certain activities and we have to go into those experiences by proper motivation. We have another hand raised from Rohit. Rohit, I will unmute you. You can ask your question. Rohit, are you there?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Hi. Good evening, everyone. So, first question is, does our soul takes and like in Sanskrit it says that our Vedas say that soul takes another forms and it takes a lot of births to become a human being. So, sir, what is your opinion on this? That does our soul takes another form after we die, and is the destiny pre-written?
So firstly, चित्त में be संसर्गते. Basically, the chitta, the consciousness, it moves from world to world. Basically, in a cycle of learning, you see, somewhere as a lower organism, they only learn to survive. They only learn to stay together. They only learn to communicate. They only learn to feel the balance. So, stage by stage, all these organisms keep evolving into the higher life forms, and they enter the uh, brain of the humans, and they start from lower rung of the ladder, then many births, many experiences, and then we start to solve the riddle of life. When we solve the riddle of life, then we are disconnected with this body and we move to some higher energy form. So then in that energy form also there are some more learnings to take place, some more steadiness of thinking is to be there, some more love, peace and truth is to be experienced there. And we continue to move till the time we become a pure unit of consciousness, ready to be merged with the matrix.
Okay. And so the destiny is like many people say that it's already pre-written, good things and a bad thing.
Yes. It is karma leads your fate. Basically, fate is there, existence of fate is there, existence of destiny is there, existence of your charter, of your actions is there, environment is there which is random, and your own willingness to change your destiny is also there. So, a combination of all these factors will decide the future outcome, which will always remain uncertain. It could be predictable by 99.99%, but 0.001% will always remain uncertain.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I really enjoyed your session. And so on, sir, can you please, in future, I would like to connect with sir. Can you please, like,
Sure. I will ask him to give some mode of connection so I will share it with you. You please
thank you, sir.
message me after the. So,
Okay, sir. Thank you.
there is Kumar who already asked a question. I think maybe having a further question. I will then just unmute him. And probably this is the last question that I will take. And I have one question of my own with which I will end the question answer session. So Kumar, you can ask your question.
Thank you very much. I have an issue about quieting my own critical thinking. I'm not able to get into higher levels of consciousness. How do I quieten my mind and quieten my own critical thinking faculties?
From your question, what I can understand is you are making a lot of effort and you are actually fighting with your mind. You must stop fighting your mind. You must stop fighting with your mind and let it take its own flow, its own route. Basically, what happens is when we are unable to help things which are not within our control, and now we start overthinking, then mind goes into overdrive, or our intellect goes into overdrive. So, Sahaj Yoga is like simple. It doesn't require any superior practices or any during the daily life also we can practice that. You should not overthink. Overthink in the sense, go with the flow a little bit, but keep that control. Let the thoughts come into your mind. Let them resolve automatically. Only thoughts will only reduce if they are resolved. Otherwise, they will keep reducing. So let the mind focus on a particular subject, and then it will get resolved, and then you move to the next one.
Okay. So, just some bit of suggestion came to me by this question. Maybe I can share the suggestion. Also helped me in some time back when I was also dealing with such problems. So one thing that you may want to do, Kumar, is that you visit some picturesque natural beauty place and just be there and enjoy the beauty. And then with that experience, you can in that experience you can see whether your mind is being very critical about the beauty that you are seeing, or the sounds of nature, or the scenes of nature that you are experiencing, whether you are having critical thoughts on these natural experiences that you are having. Another thing that you may want to do when you're living your life in maybe in your urban life or in daily life, whenever these thoughts are coming, you can just say it's okay. It's okay. That's where it might get resolved. You just accept whatever things are bothering you, or whatever critical thoughts are coming to you. Just accept that they are natural occurrings of the life, and you don't have to bother about it or deal with it anymore. Maybe
excellent suggestion, Dr. Soham. In fact, I had a near-death experience once, and when you die, the dreamlets flash in front of your eyes. These dreamlets are actually from your life, like a picture is being played in front of you. So, if we have a beautiful life in which all these pictures are beautiful, so we will be that much better. So, if we have to collect experiences here on earth, we must collect experiences which are beautiful.
Right. So we must build such experiences by putting some positive intention behind building such experiences. Right. Okay. My last question was there. Actually, it is not a question, but probably a suggestion to you may give to all. Since understanding the metaphysics of yoga requires the understanding of the Sankhya philosophy, so would you like to recommend a reading where we may understand the Sankhya in a more easy language, not going too much into the Sanskrit or into too much technical things? Maybe some version or some book is there which people can start reading, get some exposure to the Sankhya philosophy, gain some understanding.
Yeah, I have also mentioned Sankhya philosophy in not only Science of Yoga, but also in this book, which is the logic of every being. So this book has got 5 sections. All the repository of human knowledge is in 4 pillars. One is religion, then philosophy, then it is science, and then spirituality. These 4 pillars contain all whatever we know about humanity or the history or the technology or everything. So philosophy and science and everything. So based on all those 4 pillars of the knowledge, I have made a picture of reality, which is in the 5th section of this book. So it describes the purpose of human life also. So this is how I have also integrated Sankhya philosophy into the picture of reality.
Okay, sir. So with this, I think we are at the end of the session, and I would request. Okay, there is one more question, one more hands up. So would you like to have a question? One more question, or
no problem. I can do it.
Huh?
Yes, I can answer.
Yeah. Okay. So Pankaj, this is the last question. So please do not have any other hands raised. So Pankaj, you just vanished. So would you like to have a question asked? Pankaj is not raising his hands anymore, but Kulbhushan has raised his hand. So this is the last question. So please, okay, Pankaj is also there. So Pankaj, I will take this question and this is the last question. So we'll close the session now after Pankaj. Okay, you can ask your question, Pankaj.
Not a question. Somebody else can ask question. I was just asking the writer of the logic of every being. I didn't see the writer.
Definitely.
Yeah, okay.
The writer is Dr. Satinder Singh Malik himself.
Okay.
So it's the book probably in Amazon or somewhere.
It is there on the Kindle, but it is coming up with the Garuda Prakasham.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay. Okay, so with this, I think we will end the session, and I request Mridul to offer the vote of thanks and formally end the session.
Very first, we thank Satinder Malik ji for accepting our invitation and adjusting his routine to make time for this lecture. I'm sure this lecture would have given a lot of takeaways to the audience. Coming to the audience, we must extend our heartfelt thanks and gratitude to the overwhelming support we have obtained from them for our lecture series, with the registration mark crossing over 300. The success of this lecture series cannot be possible without your overwhelming support. Also, we thank our director, Professor K.K. Pant, and our Dean of Academic Affairs, Professor Apurva Kumar Sharma, for lending their constant support to our efforts. We thank Professor Anil Kumar Gaurishetty for his able leadership to the IKS committee of IIT Roorkee and being a source of encouragement and enthusiasm for all of us. We also thank the various IIT Roorkee authorities and officers who had always been available to solve our problems and extend their support in organizing the lecture series. We must thank all the IKS student volunteers for all the background work carried out for the successful conduction of the program, starting from managing email communications to setting up webinar sessions. Also, special thanks to Raghudev Bhaiya for creating the beautiful invocation video, lending his own voice in the recitation. Apologies to anyone whom I may have missed, but our heartfelt thanks extend to one and all who came together to make the event a success. Thanking again our esteemed speaker for sharing his knowledge and insights with us, I declare this session closed. Our next session is on 4th of August, for which communication will be sent in due time. We officially end the session with a Shanti Mantra recitation, for which I request Khushi to take over.
Khushi, please unmute yourself and open the video.
Sir, is my voice audible?
Yes.
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखात् भवेत्. शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति.
Thank you for being here. We close the session now.